Hello everyone, this is a very quick tutorial on sharpening in Photoshop. I'm going to show you 3 different ways of doing it. There are obviously many ways of sharpening in Photoshop. These are just the 3 most common ones used. So we're going to have a look at the original. This is a pretty sharp image anyway. You can see some lovely water there. It maybe just needs a little bit of sharpening sort of where I'm waving my cursor. So the first way, we're going to leave that original. The first way is in camera raw, so we're going to go filter camera raw, and obviously if you have a raw file you've opened it in raw anyway, and so here we go. And camera raw, this is the latest camera raw 13.4 up there. We're busy using the Photoshop 2021, so we're going to go to detail, and that's where you get your sharpening. Now this is a JPEG, and so the sharpening is all the way down there. We're going to start sliding this along. Now if I go all the way to the end, you will see there's a whole lot of noise that's going to come up there. Look at all that noise, and it's looking really horrid. So you drag back to where it starts looking sharp but without too much noise. So if you go there and there's too much noise, I say somewhere around there. You have a bit of noise reduction here, and you have your color noise reduction. You can do noise reduction here in RAW, or there's other filters in Photoshop. We're not touching on noise yet. Okay, there's another little sub menu going down there. Now, your radius and your detail, you can obviously do that too, but again, if you just watch that face there, just watch the noise that comes up. So just be really careful about doing all of that. Okay, so as I said, this is quite a sharp image anyway, so we're not going to I'm going to keep the radius on 1 and the detail, I can't remember where it was, 20 I think, there we go, and sharpening at about there, and I think that does it. Now the wonderful thing about this masking tool is if you hold your Alt key down, okay, and you hold that everything that is white is being sharpened, drag the masking tool along, because you don't necessarily want your background to be sharpened. Okay, you just want that front section, and the camera raw is really good at picking out the foreground and the important bits. So somewhere around there, a little bit more in the face, somewhere like that, and you get that. Okay, so sharpening in the background can bring a lot of noise, and using this masking tool, make sure I'm going to hold the Alt key down and I'm going to click on there again, and you'll see that is what is being sharpened. Everything was being sharpened, very little is being sharpened there. So somewhere around there, in every picture you can obviously decide, I think something like that. You then say okay, and there we go. So let's look at the original, and then let's look at the raw. I see a little bit of sharpening going on there. Okay, so as I said, it's quite a good image anyway. It's watch the water here. We go back to the original, and then we go back to the raw. There's a little bit of happening there. Okay, we go back to something that hasn't been sharpened. We're going to use the unsharpened mask. So you go into filter, sharpen, and then you go to your unsharpened mask. Now if you've done some noise reduction, say for example if you've gone to the noise and you've done reduce the noise there, many people then go to sharpen and sharpen the edges. So that's just a bit of an extra tip. So sharpen, unsharpen mask, and we're going to zoom out a bit. I'll zoom in a bit and then move that there. Okay, so always make sure that your preview is on, so as you're going, look at that, you see that's too much. You can clearly see, and even on here you can just see how way too much it is. So I usually do about 100, but obviously it depends on each picture. So go up a bit more. See, so if you go there, look at that face. If you go to about 100, look at that face now. Just the details are starting to pop a little bit there. Again, the radius you can do whatever you want with, the threshold, and you can just go and play. So we hit the OK button. So that was the original. Look at that face, and that's the unsharpened mask. Bit of a difference there, which is fantastic. Now this sharpens the whole image. Okay, if you want to do layers and masking and all that, you can do that. The third way of sharpening, and we can go back to the original image, is the sharpening with a brush. So this is going just to the areas that you want sharpened. So you go to the sharpen tool here, you hover over it, it tells you, and let me hover over it again, and now it's not going to come up. Okay, sharpen tool. Okay, anything related to this, all the settings for any of these tools, as soon as you click on it, they're up at the top now. So you want normal, okay? You don't want dark and lighten, and that's another thing that it can do. Okay, and the strength, now this sharpening tool is very, very strong. So always start on something at about 10%. Okay, 10%, okay? If you're getting a cursor like this, press your caps lock button, and then it should come up as a little round thingy. If you want to make it smaller, you use your bracket, left bracket. If you want to make it bigger, your right bracket. Okay, so about there. So again, normal on 10%, we're on the sharpening tool, and we're just going to brush over. Now keep your mouse, hold your mouse button down, and just brush over things like this. And you can do a bit of water here. Okay, and let your mouse button go. Now, if you do it again, it's going to do 10% again. So let's just see what it looks like. Yeah, that's not so bad. And rather just do a 10%, 10%. I'll show you what happens if you go like 50%. Straight away you're seeing that noise. See that? And it's looking terrible. Control Z to undo. Okay, so we did 10% and then we did another 10%, and I think that's looking good. So let's go back to the original. See the difference in the face, the camera raw, not so much difference. Probably needed to use a brush there as well. The unmask the unsharpen mask tool did a good job, but it sharpened everything. Whereas the sharpening brush, I think that looks the best because it hasn't sharpened the background, it hasn't made the noise worse, and you've got really nice detail in the face there. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. You can pause, you can gloss over and make it go faster, make it go slower. Enjoy, and thank you for listening, and thank you for watching.